The moment Meghan Markle allegedly realized Trevor Engelson's so-called lost diary was no longer buried in some forgotten Hollywood storage box, insiders claim the atmosphere inside Montecito changed instantly. Phones reportedly started ringing non-stop. Advisors allegedly rushed into emergency meetings. And Prince Harry, according to whispers spreading through California elite circles, sat in total silence after hearing what Trevor may have written years ago behind closed doors. Because this was not just another celebrity breakup story resurfacing online. This was supposedly a deeply personal record written by the one man who knew Meghan before the palace, before the Netflix empire, before the carefully polished reinvention that transformed her into one of the most controversial women on earth. And if even half the rumors surrounding this diary are true, then the entire Sussex narrative may be heading toward the biggest public collapse yet. What makes this story terrifying for Meghan is not just the existence of the diary itself. It is the timing. For over a decade, Trevor Engelson remained almost unnaturally silent. No tell-all interviews, no revenge documentaries, no public bitterness. While former celebrity partners usually sprint toward tabloids the second a relationship ends, Trevor reportedly did the exact opposite. He disappeared, quietly rebuilt his life, started a family, expanded his production career, and that silence became part of his credibility because the public began asking one dangerous question. If Trevor knew damaging things, why never speak? The answer, according to insiders, is that he never intended to, until now. And suddenly, Hollywood gossip circles exploded with whispers that private handwritten journals Trevor allegedly kept during the final years of his marriage had resurfaced during an old property archive review connected to one of his earlier production offices. Sources claim boxes containing personal notes, relationship timelines, private observations, and emotional entries were supposedly rediscovered by accident during cataloging work. At first, nobody allegedly understood the significance. Then, names started appearing in the pages. Meghan, Toronto, Soho House, networking plans, social climbing frustrations. And according to one insider, the diary allegedly contains details so specific they could destroy years of carefully managed storytelling. Now stop and think about how catastrophic that becomes for someone whose entire public image depends on controlling the narrative. Meghan's rise was built on storytelling. The struggling outsider story, the brave royal victim story, the modern feminist story, the misunderstood Duchess story. Every public appearance, every interview, every documentary centered around a carefully emotional narrative framework. But diaries terrify public figures because diaries are written before media training, before legal teams, before publicists sanitize language. Diaries capture raw thinking, unfiltered motives, real frustrations, real intentions. And if Trevor truly documented those final marriage years honestly, then Meghan reportedly fears the world may see a completely different version of her transformation. Sources close to the situation claim one particular section allegedly caused immediate panic. Trevor reportedly wrote detailed observations about Meghan's dramatic personality shifts during her Suits era in Toronto. According to whispers, he allegedly described a period where her ambitions accelerated so aggressively that even longtime friends struggled recognizing her behavior. Old relationships reportedly became disposable overnight if they no longer offered status or access. Social circles allegedly transformed from genuine friendships into strategic networking ladders. Trevor supposedly wrote that Meghan became obsessed with elevation, not happiness. Not love, elevation. People close to Montecito claim Harry became unusually withdrawn after private discussions regarding the situation. One insider described him as emotionally frozen. Another reportedly claimed he spent hours alone reviewing old timelines and interviews because suddenly every past criticism he once defended Meghan against started resurfacing in his mind at once. The accusations of manipulation, the claims of strategic networking, the rumors surrounding Soho House connections, the social climbing allegations. For years, Harry publicly fought those narratives aggressively. But now, according to insiders, the possibility that Trevor documented similar concerns privately years earlier has reportedly shaken him deeply. And Meghan? Sources say Meghan allegedly exploded behind closed doors once rumors about the diary gained traction online. Not nervous, furious. Furious because she reportedly believed Trevor would remain silent forever. Furious because diaries cannot easily be dismissed as tabloid inventions if handwriting, dates, and contextual details details are authenticated. Furious because even if only fragments leak publicly, the media frenzy would become uncontrollable instantly. Hollywood executives allegedly began quietly monitoring the situation already because nobody wants association with the collapsing brand narrative. That may explain why Meghan's team reportedly moved into aggressive containment mode almost immediately. Online discussions allegedly started disappearing mysteriously. Certain gossip accounts suddenly stopped posting updates. Legal threats reportedly circulated privately. And according to some royal commentators, Meghan's advisors became terrified the diary story could snowball into something far bigger than Trevor himself ever intended. Because here is the uncomfortable reality nobody inside Hollywood wants to say publicly. The Sussex brand is weaker now than it has ever been. The Netflix excitement faded. The Spotify collapse damaged credibility. The lifestyle brand launches became internet punchlines. Public sympathy dropped dramatically after repeated royal attacks. Even celebrity allies reportedly distanced themselves quietly over the last year. Oprah disappeared from the narrative. Major A-list defenders stopped speaking publicly. The protective Hollywood bubble weakened at exactly the wrong moment. And now this alleged diary appears during the worst possible timing imaginable. What terrifies insiders most is the possibility that Trevor himself never even planned for the diary to become public. Sources claim the situation allegedly spiraled after third parties connected to publishing circles learned about the journals and immediately recognized their commercial value. Because let us be brutally honest here, a first-hand private diary from Meghan Markle's ex-husband covering the exact years before her royal rise would become one of the most explosive celebrity publishing events in years. Publishers would fight viciously for it. Streaming platforms would circle instantly. Every media network in America and Britain would dedicate non-stop coverage to every leaked sentence. And according to insiders, Meghan allegedly knows that once the public conversation begins, she may never fully regain control of it again. Because diaries feel intimate, human, personal. They bypass polished PR talking points. They create emotional authenticity, whether fair or unfair. And if Trevor's alleged writings paint Meghan as ambitious in ways that contradict her carefully crafted public image, the damage could become irreversible. But the darkest part of this entire scandal may not even involve Meghan. It may involve Harry finally confronting the possibility that the fairy tale he defended against the entire world might not have been exactly what he believed it was. The deeper this alleged diary story spreads through Hollywood and royal gossip circles, the more one chilling possibility keeps resurfacing over and over again. What if Trevor Engelson never intended revenge at all? What if the real danger comes from the fact that these journals were supposedly written privately, years before Meghan ever became a global figure powerful enough to influence public narratives? Because that changes everything. A memoir written today could always be dismissed as opportunistic. A diary written in real time during the collapse of a marriage feels completely different. It feels raw, unplanned, emotionally honest in ways polished interviews can never be. And according to insiders, that exact authenticity is what reportedly has Meghan absolutely terrified. Sources claim several individuals who allegedly reviewed fragments of the writings described them as deeply personal but disturbingly observant. Trevor reportedly documented mood swings, social transitions, networking obsessions, emotional detachment, and what he allegedly viewed as Meghan's growing fixation on status and elite recognition during the final Toronto years. But one rumored passage in particular supposedly left even longtime Hollywood insiders stunned. According to whispers, Trevor allegedly wrote that Meghan viewed relationships through usefulness, not emotionally. Strategically. The claim spreading online is that he supposedly believed she mentally categorized people by what level they could elevate her toward next. Now, whether that is true or not almost becomes secondary once the internet grabs hold of it, because perception destroys public figures faster than facts ever do. And the timing could not possibly be worse. Meghan is already battling brand instability, public exhaustion, collapsing sympathy, and constant criticism surrounding her post-royal identity. The last thing her team allegedly needed was a deeply personal narrative resurfacing from the one man who witnessed her before the global transformation began. And insiders claim this entire situation became exponentially more dangerous after rumors spread that the diary allegedly contains references to early conversations about Britain long before Harry officially entered the picture. Again, Again, none of this is verified publicly, but online speculation exploded after gossip circles began claiming Trevor documented Meghan's fascination with aristocratic culture, old money influence, and internationally recognized families years before she entered royal circles. Suddenly, old interviews started being dissected frame by frame again. Social media users revisited clips where Meghan claimed she knew little about Prince Harry before meeting him. Critics started comparing timelines obsessively, and once that avalanche begins online, it becomes almost impossible to stop. But according to Montecito insiders, the real emotional implosion is reportedly happening behind closed doors between Harry and Meghan themselves. Because sources claim Harry is no longer reacting like a man blindly defending his wife against unfair attacks. Something reportedly shifted. People close to the couple allegedly describe Harry as emotionally exhausted, mentally drained, and increasingly distant whenever Trevor's name surfaces privately. One insider shockingly claimed Harry asked a direct question during a tense discussion that changed the atmosphere in the room completely. Nobody knows the exact wording, but according to rumors, it involved timelines, authenticity, and whether certain parts of their early relationship were presented honestly to him. That single rumor alone sent royal watchers into complete meltdown online, because for years Harry defended Meghan with almost militant loyalty. He attacked the press, accused the royal institution of cruelty, publicly distanced himself from family members, and sacrificed nearly every traditional pillar of his former life in order to protect the relationship. If even Harry himself is now allegedly questioning parts of the narrative privately, then the emotional consequences inside that mansion could be catastrophic. And sources said the tension reportedly intensified after Meghan allegedly demanded aggressive action against anyone discussing the diary publicly. Legal warnings, reputation management campaigns, monitoring social platforms. But according to insiders, Harry supposedly showed hesitation about escalating things further. That hesitation reportedly created explosive arguments behind closed doors because Meghan allegedly views silence as weakness, while Harry has become increasingly exhausted by constant public warfare. Because imagine the psychological horror of wondering whether your entire life transformation was partially built on a version of reality someone else carefully curated for you. Imagine hearing whispers that your wife's former husband documented personality traits and ambitions years earlier that resemble the exact accusations you spent years publicly denying. That level of cognitive collapse would break almost anyone emotionally. And according to insiders, Meghan reportedly understands that danger perfectly. Not just the public danger, the private one. Because if Harry emotionally withdraws, the entire Sussex structure weakens instantly. Their brand depends on unity, on shared victimhood, on presenting themselves as a team fighting external persecution together. But if Trevor's alleged diary creates doubt inside Harry himself, then the threat becomes existential. Now, the internet is watching every movement obsessively, every public appearance, every facial expression, every delayed statement, every missing interview, every rumor about Trevor's alleged writings spreads like wildfire because people sense something unusual is happening beneath the surface. And perhaps the most revealing detail of all is this. Meghan reportedly spent years trying to erase Trevor Engelson from her public story completely. He became the invisible chapter, the inconvenient pre-royal history quietly removed from the fairy tale narrative. But now the one man allegedly erased from the story may suddenly become the person redefining it entirely. And that is why insiders claim Meghan is furious beyond anything the public has seen before. Because this is not merely another scandal she can outmaneuver with PR statements or emotional interviews. This strikes directly at narrative authenticity itself, at identity, at credibility, at the emotional foundation of the entire Sussex mythology. Trevor Engelson allegedly kept private thoughts nobody expected the world to ever see. And if those thoughts truly surface publicly, then Harry may not be the only person left speechless when the dust finally settles.